What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Sports and Stuff podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Arya Stark, a.k.a. Evan, and tonight I am joined by my boy, Swaggy-C, a.k.a. Corey. Corey, go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's up, everybody? This is Swaggy-C, a.k.a. Corey Kenner. You can say it the other way if you want to.
That's right. This is our first podcast, and tonight we've decided to bring you our top 10 favorite Game of Thrones characters. We wanted to pick a subject that would make a splash, something that everyone would like, and everyone likes Game of Thrones. That's just a fact. So, without further ado, I'm going to send it over to Corey for his number 10 favorite Game of Thrones character. Corey, who you got at number 10?
Coming in at number 10, I'm just going to go ahead and say the name first. Joffrey Baratheon.
Joffrey Baratheon. Wow.
No need to beat around the bush. Let's just go ahead and put it out there.
Why do you pick such a hated character?
It takes a lot to hate a character. That's, the guy is so evil that it's like you just each week you're waiting to see what the next thing you're gonna hate him for is, if that makes any sense.
No, for sure.
I don't know.
I understand what you're saying. I personally don't have Joffrey on my list because I hate him so much, but because he was on the show is more interesting, for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, I don't know. I'm playing devil's advocate here for sure.
No, I mean, you're just saying who...
When you look back on season 1,
mm-hmm.
and you think of some of the episodes...
Right.
Joffrey's an integral part of those.
Season 2, too. He's huge.
Yeah.
And even season 3, I mean,
would you love Sansa so much if you didn't see how hard Joffrey hated her?
No, I mean... That definitely gets her mad sympathy points that she had to deal with him, and he's a terrible person. But I think why you like him is because when he's on the screen or when he's around, everything is so nerve-wracking, and you're just not sure what's going to happen.
He's really like...
He could just flip on a switch, do whatever, do anything.
Yeah, he's just so pompous.
He is. He's pompous, arrogant, smug, just a piece of shit, and he has no one to control him.
He's everything that you hate.
Everything you hate. He's like a young Justin
everything
Bieber.
You love to hate.
He's like a young Justin Bieber, and he never got to grow up into the older, cooler Justin Bieber.
Right. Exactly. So, he was like a Justin Bieber in Middle Earth.
Right.
Because
that never got to grow up.
Right, because he just...
Spoiler alert, by the way.
You got killed. Yeah.
If you're listening to this and you haven't seen it, that's on you.
No, that was a real thing, though.
No, for sure.
Bieber didn't have to worry about getting his fucking head cut off.
No, definitely not. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump into my number 10. My number 10 is Sansa Stark. An interesting character for me. Started out hating her, as did, I'm sure, most people.
Oh, I started out hating Joffrey.
Right, but you ended hating Joffrey. How much did you hate Sansa when she was in season 1? Like, oh, I just want to be a princess. I just want to go over to there. And it was so obvious Joffrey and them were evil. And she's like, I don't care. I just want to go. And then, she suffered for it for the next few seasons. But she's come around. And she's a badass bitch now. And she's definitely a force to be reckoned with. And on top of it, she's not bad on the eyes, which is something that played a little bit of factor in this for me, because I definitely I like seeing Sophie Turner on the screen. She's a good-looking lady.
It's funny, because I actually wasn't quite sure that Sansa was your 10. I think it's interesting that Joffrey's my 10 and Sansa's your 10.
For sure. Our 10s are married at one point. How ironic. Anyways, moving on. I'm going to jump to my number 9. My number 9 is another female who started weak and has come around to be super strong. That's Daenerys Targaryen. A fan favorite. I feel people might be a little surprised how low I have her. And do you have her on your list?
I don't have her on my list.
And Swaggy-C Corey over here doesn't even have her on her list.
She is not a top 10 Game of Thrones character.
So hot take over here, guys. Yeah. Daenerys, number 9 on my list, though. She's started out weak, but quickly got stronger, and I was really into it, and I thought she was awesome. And she still is awesome. She's number 9. Like, let's not sell her short. She's still awesome. But she kind of lost a little steam, got a little boring there in Marine. And she definitely has potential to vault back up into my top 5, 3, something like that. But I just feel like she's been a little stagnant, kind of doing the same old in a place that doesn't matter. And who cares about Essos? It's all about Westeros, right? Let's be real. This is the Game of Thrones. The White Walkers are on Westeros. All the rich, powerful kingdoms we care about are on Westeros. We don't care about your slave cities or any of that. We want you to go back, take your crown, and defend people against the White Walkers. And to this point, she's just been sitting over on the other side of the world, doing her thing, being powerful, making the most of what she's got. But I feel like she could have done a little more, maybe left earlier. But just nitpicking. She's still my number 9. I love her.
I agree with you. And I am pretty nitpicky, which is why she doesn't make my list.
Right. I mean, you have to be. When there's literally 70 characters that you have to narrow down into a top 10, it's hard.
And I know everybody loves her.
And
I love her.
And not all of these characters are going to be main characters, most important characters. These are our favorite characters who, when we see, who when we think about, we love the most. It's not who you like. It's not who is most important, who George R. R. Martin like. It's who we like.
Exactly.
And that's that. All right, jumping over to you. Who's your 9th favorite Game of Thrones character?
I am going to take a turn here. And, in fact, my 9th character was actually beheaded by the order of my 10th overall character.
Oh.
And that is Ned Stark.
Ned Stark.
Yeah.
The one
so
season
got a
wonder.
Pattern going on here. We've got a beheading of the 9th by the 10th.
Maybe a little foretelling with that storyline there.
Yeah, who knows? Probably not. But I like Ned a lot, as do I think a lot of people. I think people will start. I think I'll get a few listeners back here with the Ned Stark pick
for sure. You're going with pure evil to pure righteousness.
But at the same time, there's probably going to be a bunch of people that are going to be pissed that Ned Stark's not number 1, but that's okay.
No, come on. I don't even have Ned Stark on my list. And that's not because I don't love Ned Stark. It's just because he was in one season, and while he was the main driving force to get people really into it, ever since then, the story's even gotten better without him. And I don't know if I should hold that against him, but that reason, he's not in my top 10.
And that's a good segue to kind of one of my main points, is that he is only number 9 for me because he was only in one season. But what he did in that season for me was important. He was a character for me. Like, when I first started watching the show, I was like, this is my guy.
Right.
Like, seven seasons from now,
for sure,
me and Ned Stark are going to be like hanging out.
Definitely. 30 minutes into that first episode, you're like, damn, this guy's real. I would love this guy to be my dad.
It was one of those things where I was getting to the end of season 1, and I was like, okay, like, not looking too good for this guy. But I was like, he's going to make it 6 more seasons.
Right.
And then, the day, as soon as the head comes off, I was like, all right, this dude's gone.
For sure. All right, I'm going to ask you a quick question. Describe Ned Stark to me in 3 words.
Noble, dark, quiet.
I love it. Love it. A little mysterious with the dark. I'm not even going to further ask that. You guys can just insinuate on what he means. Further moving on. Who's your number 8 favorite Game of Thrones character of all time, Corey?
I'm going to go around the globe a little bit.
Around the globe.
Geographically, place yourselves in a new area.
For sure.
Over to Dorne.
Over to Dorne.
To the Martells, which is going to lead me to Oberyn.
Oberyn. Oh. Okay, so I have Oberyn a little higher on my list. However, we both have him. So give me a quick 2 sentences as to why you like him. And then we'll talk about him further when we get to him on my list.
He's sexy.
Great first sentence. Second sentence.
He doesn't take shit from anyone.
I love it. All right. Little foreshadowing to further things. My number 8 favorite character is going to be Littlefinger. And I feel like I might get some hate for that one, just like you with Joffrey. A lot of people hate Littlefinger. I realize he's a scumbag, and he's kind of a weasel.
And I should have said that about Joffrey.
For sure. He is those things as well.
I feel like I didn't want to make myself sound like I love Joffrey.
The difference between them, though, is one is a sociopath as a teenager, and one's a sociopath as an adult who's been shit on his whole life. So he's had to just be smart and figure out that way how to take over. He didn't just get handed his shit. That's why he's easily, he's definitely one of the 3 smartest people, I think, in the show. And part of his wild card is you're really never sure what his plan is. Even because, he can be saying things on screen, and it's like, wait, is that real? From the first season when he's like, oh, yeah, I have the gold cloaks for you, Ned. And then all of a sudden, boom, knife to the throat. I told you not to trust me. And then moving forward,
that pissed me off.
He gets the guy to bring Sansa back and then just shoots him in the head. And, sells Sansa to Ramsay. All sorts of different things where it's like, what's his real motive? Where does his ambition actually stop? Because is it short of the Iron Throne? Because it better be, because if he's going for the Iron Throne, he's going to get killed. Because there's way more important people who have the claim who are just as smart with people behind them and who can fight better.
Yeah.
A.K.A. Jon fucking Snow and Daenerys Targaryen. Those people, you can't... Littlefinger, you can't muster up shit to stop them.
He can't fight.
That being said, though, his tactics to this point in the show have gotten the Eyrie. He had Harrenhal. He's a master tactician. He's always doing crazy things that shock audiences, shock people in the show, and you just never really know where his true ambitions or loyalties lie. And for that reason, he's always a wild card that keeps everything kind of imbalanced, and he has just enough power to kind of fuck anyone over. You know what I mean? He can't fuck everyone over, but if you piss him off, he can go out of his way to screw you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why he's my number 8. You have any thoughts on Littlefinger? You disagree or?
He's one of those guys that I never really liked him, but I kind of did.
For sure. No, I agree. You hate everything he stands for and does, and you would never do it in real life. But because it's a show, you're like, oh, damn, it's kind of cool to see it play out.
I know.
It's kind of like, man, imagine if I did that one thing in life that would have just screwed over these other 2 people to completely benefit myself. How would I felt after that? Even though I didn't do it. And it's like, this way you get to see it.
I know.
It's crazy. So that's why I think he's just awesome and interesting, and the
thing for me, though, is he can't fight.
No, he can't fight.
And it's not all about fighting.
No, but a big part.
He's completely lopsided as far as intellectual strengths.
Right.
He has no physical strengths.
No, you do need
He's a puny little stick.
You need to be able to lead an army in this world.
Physically,
truly get
not just mentally.
No, yeah, exactly.
He's a great strategist.
Literally, on the battlefield, lead an army. So anyways, speaking of leading an army, this is going to jump me into my number 7 favorite person. And that is maybe the best person to ever lead an army in the show, Tywin Lannister. An absolute ruthless savage who, throughout the history of the show, has had multiple victories. He's known widely across the realm as one of the smartest military minds. He's known widely across the realm as one of the smartest, most powerful people. Um, Rob got the best of him there for a little, but I feel like part of that was because Rob is also brilliant, and Jamie at the time was a little immature and wasn't taking things as serious, kind of thought he could just kind of waltz wherever he wanted, and got taken advantage of a little. And that's a little bit Tywin's fault for entrusting Jamie, but I'm not going to hold it against him. He's still brilliant. And
you got to think of how raw of an amazing sword fighter Jamie is too.
Oh, for sure. Jamie just thinks at the time, Jamie thought he could get into any situation and just get out based off money, power, talent, whatever, looks. He didn't care. He was the untouchable golden kid. But that got brought down.
Which I love about him.
For sure.
We'll get to that later.
Oh, well, a little foreshadowing.
Maybe.
But yeah, Tywin. Some of my favorite scenes with Tywin were when Arya was his squire or handmaiden or whatever.
Yeah, me too.
And would bring the drinks, but looked as like a little boy, and he knew she was a girl because he's so smart. And I just thought that was an adorable scene. But yeah, I just love Tywin. I love his smarts. I love his ruthlessness. I love what he brings to the show because of him, all his children are so fucked up that it makes it for an interesting thing. And that's another element that he brings that I really like. But
he kind of reminds me of Bill the Butcher.
Oh, yeah, for sure. In Gangs of New York?
Yeah.
Definitely. He's definitely the Bill the Butcher. He's ruthless, savage. When he's with you in like a dining setting, he like gets you to love him.
You remember when he's talking to Jamie and he's cutting up that...
Oh, the deer?
Yeah.
I want you to be the son that you're supposed to be right now, or something like that. Yeah. That's deep, and Jamie's like, kind of like swallows like deeply. He's like, oh shit, like it's time. And then shortly after that, gets captured by Robb Stark, of course.
He's telling Jamie about how, he's the one that's gonna continue the family legacy.
Right. Your name doesn't live on my name, doesn't live on the family name. Yeah, he's an intense dude. He's all about family. He's intense. That's why I love him. He's coming in number 7 for me. Who's your number 7?
He's a great character.
Great character.
It's a good segue because my number 7 is actually his daughter.
Ooh!
Cersei Lannister.
Cersei Lannister! I think I almost hate her more than Joffrey.
Maybe I love to hate.
No, I mean, I love to hate too. I just don't love to hate as much as you, I guess.
She's brilliant. She's clever. She's beautiful. She's
brilliant.
She's everything I want in a woman.
She's brilliant. Don't use brilliant with Cersei. She's moderately intelligent. She's behind everyone that she's really competing against. Tyrion, Tywin. Although, in this last season, she did outsmart everyone.
In a time in which men rule,
right?
She's a very, very powerful character.
For sure. I do love that scene where she's she's in Tywin's chamber, and she's like, "Did you ever think that of all the lessons you were giving, the person that was listening to you was me? Like, I'm the one that's trying to carry on this legacy. I'm the one that's as ruthless as you. Do you not see this? Like, I'm the one that's willing to go to these lengths."
I also see the reason why she is with her own brother in the sense that her brother is a powerful man in Westeros.
And he's a male version of her.
Yeah, exactly. And basically, back then there wasn't a whole lot to choose from. I don't know.
And I mean, like, in this world, like, let's not forget that incest isn't, like, viewed as the same in our world. Like, the Targaryens inbred forever. Like, they've done it forever, you know?
And I think...
And no one gave them shit because they had dragons. But
she basically was in love with the most pure, smartest, and most badass, best fighter, best thinker, kind of best overall man I think that she could have been with, and we'll get to that later. But I don't blame her for falling in love with her best option.
And she grew up with him, so...
Yeah, they were friends since they were kids, so,
you know. I mean, it's weird in the grand scheme of things, but in that world, it's not quite as weird. And I understand why she did. But I don't agree with it.
From a fantasy Middle-earth standpoint, I'm not going to sit here and act like it's the biggest crime.
No, for sure. Not even close. I do find some redeeming qualities in Cersei. I think she is extremely strong-willed. I think she's very persistent. She will not stop.
She's very confident, too.
Very confident. Overconfident. I think she's overconfident. I think she's more powerful. She thinks she's smarter. She thinks she's better than she is. And a lot of times, people outwit her. But a lot of times she outwits people. Like, with her pure ruthlessness, people won't even expect what she does, and she does it.
Do you think in, like, a world like that it's easier to become overconfident, maybe out of fear of your life, fear for your life, because you're always looking over your shoulder.
Especially
always in her position as queen, being in a royal family, someone could always be out to get you, and maybe you have to be overconfident, because if you're not, then you get clipped.
Yeah, especially as like a super royal family. Like, there's royal families in Westeros, you know? But there's super royal families.
Right, like they're running King's Landing.
Like they're the wardens of the
Like your dad's
West.
Tywin.
Yeah. Like he was the hand of the king.
Your brother is the King Slayer.
Your son is the king.
Your brother is Tyrion Lannister.
Yeah, your son is the king. Like
Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely like, you know, people always say like, oh, like famous people, like for example, actors or athletes or musicians have egos. These egos. I have an ego, and I don't even have a cool job. Like, I think I'm pretty cool, and like, I can't even imagine what Cersei would think of herself when she's been just ass-kissed the whole life, given everything she wanted. Everyone thinks that her family's awesome or terrible,
and she's great looking.
She's the most beautiful woman in the whole world, according to the books. In the show, I would have to disagree.
She's also very smart.
I'd have to give it a little Sansa nod, because I love me some Sansa Stark, but Cersei is definitely the number one MILF in Westeros. Easy. Number one MILF. I'm saying it. Alright, so without further ado, moving on from the number one MILF, Cersei, let's go ahead and hear your number 6 favorite character.
Number 6 here is gonna take us kind of back. I want to say, I mean, we get this guy in the first season, I think, but we don't really think of him till later. And it's in the Eyrie when we first see him, with one of what I would argue is a lot of people's favorite character, Tyrion Lannister, is doing a trial by combat, and he chooses a man out of the crowd.
Oh, real quick, 1 second. Alright, audience, we're going to give you 10 seconds to guess who this is. Do 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 do. Alright, Corey, back to you. Who is this character?
His name is Sir Bronn.
Sir Bronn. Did you hear that, guys?
Refresh you on Bronn's last name.
I don't know Bronn's last name.
I forgot what it was.
I don't care.
It doesn't really matter for the story.
Bronn of the Blackwater.
Yeah, Sir Bronn of Blackwater. That's kind of what I was thinking of. That is what I was getting at. But
okay.
I just kind of wanted his full title.
Yeah, I don't know his last name. I think he was kind of just a merchant.
Sir Bronn of Blackwater is kind of what I was remembering.
So, again...
This guy...
Real quick, I'm going to jump in. So, again, I have this same character a little bit higher on my list. So we'll talk about him more in depth when we get to him for me. But once again, I want you to give me 2 sentences as to why you love Bronn.
He's loyal as fuck.
Okay.
He's amazing.
He's amazing.
I don't know what else to say.
For sure. No, I can't
it's
agree
hard,
more.
It's hard to find a few words to say.
We'll elaborate on this more.
He's loyal. He's fun. He's entertaining. He's fun to be around. He's a great fighter. He's someone that you trust with your life. He's someone that if I got cornered in a 3-on-2 fight and it was me and one other person, I want Bronn.
Okay.
And I'll take on the other 3.
That was a great little quick explanation as to why you like him. I love
It's
it.
hard, but that's
No,
kind of
for
he's
sure.
that kind of guy.
For sure. No.
You want him on your team.
Definitely. I love it. All right. So we're going to jump over to my number 6. My number 6 is the prince that was promised. Jon Snow. He is...
Oh, that guy.
Oh, yeah. You've heard of him?
He's not on my list.
He's not on his list. Jon Snow. Corey Kenner not having Jon Snow or Daenerys Targaryen, arguably the two most important characters in the show. But you know what, guys? That's what makes this list authentic and awesome. We have different views, and I hope you guys appreciate them. But for me, Jon Snow's number 6. And the reason he's number 6 is because he's basically Ned Stark with Targaryen blood and a fucking giant direwolf. And no one in the show inspires people around them to love them more, including Daenerys. Daenerys kind of does it a little in part because of her dragons. If you see a dragon, it's like, oh, obviously, this person's amazing.
For sure. If I had dragons...
You know what I mean? Jon Snow is just like, I'm going to show you how awesome I am. I'm just going to lead. You can say whatever you want about me, be negative. I'm just going to lead, and I'm going to kill people, and I'm going to protect what is righteous and right. And you need those characters. And he is the most righteous and right character I feel in the show. Truly. I feel he has the best intentions of anyone. The truest intentions. Would you feel, is that fair to you? Do you think, is there someone else that you think that could maybe have like similar?
There is someone else that I would argue that does have those intentions much.
Who's that?
That's Arya.
Arya, you think she has righteous intentions? See, I think Arya has more vindictive intentions. She wants to get revenge.
I think she has both.
I feel like her vindictive intentions, though, go kind of hand in hand.
They stem from the correct roots.
Right. And they go hand in hand with...
And Jon gave her first sword.
Needle. Great moment. But yeah, no, we might get into Arya later. She potentially could be on our lists. But based off the name of my YouTube channel, maybe.
No, I'm just kidding.
But, no, yeah, Jon is, I don't know. I think he's very smart. And he's not, like, super duper smart, but he's smart enough to know that he's not super duper smart. And he puts people around him who are, like Sam. He knows Sam has no combat value, but he knows Sam has more value than anyone else in Castle Black because he's the smartest person there.
You know who else he brings in who's fucking smart?
Davos.
He sees the talent in Davos. He brings him in. You know, maybe I should have put Jon Snow on my list.
You know, I mean, he's a tough person not to, I feel.
I mean, Joffrey's on it.
Joffrey, yeah. But, yeah, see, like, come on. Joffrey over Jon? Get out of here. I mean, it's obvious you're going to like Jon more, but Joffrey did create those moments that were just so spine-tinglingly raw that you're just like, oh my god, what the fuck is this creepy kid going to do? But Jon, it's like, oh, you're speaking for the people. I love you. Everyone likes you. Like, you're so smart.
Yeah.
I am worried, however, going forward that maybe Sansa will be a little jealous of his people's affection for him and maybe try to start a coup with Littlefinger or something to rout him out of the North so she can control the North and have people love her that way. I don't know. That's a little far-fetched. That's a little far-fetched, but it's something I am a little worried about based off some things I've heard.
You got Arya.
For sure. Moving forward to my number 5, I have someone that's already been on my good friend here, Corey's list. Sir Oberyn Martell.
I'm happy that he's that
Where was he
high.
at yours? He was 8?
He was 8.
He was 8. He's 5 on mine. This is our first dual character. There's one that's another dual character. But I personally love Bronn just because...
Oberyn.
Oberyn. Because he's ruthless. He's smart. Sorry about that, Bronn. We both have Bronn on our list.
Bronn is ruthless too.
Bronn is ruthless.
They're both ruthless.
Something that we both kind of admire.
You know what's interesting too is when Bronn and Jaime go to Dorne.
Oh, that's
and
great.
Oberyn's dead. But you get this feel of Oberyn's spirit.
Within Braun.
Yeah.
Especially when he's wearing that gear.
Yeah.
Definitely. But anyways, back to Oberyn. Sorry for that slip up there. But yeah, no, Oberyn is the freest spirit of anyone in Game of Thrones history, I feel.
He's bisexual.
Bisexual, not ashamed
Doesn't
at all.
care what people think of him.
Like, my favorite scene is when he's in the brothel and he hears those Lannister people singing in the other room, and he walks in and there's those two, yeah, exactly. And he just like takes his hand over that candle flame real quick, and he's like, "Do you know why everybody hates a Lannister?"
Do you know why everybody hates a Lannister?
I'll do a little. Sorry, it's a little Latino, but we can't do it well. Whatever. That's kind of what they are. And he's like, "Cause they smell, they stink."
Yeah, I love that scene.
And then like he's
just
like
stabs him in the hand.
Right. Oh, long sword is bad choice in close quarters. It's like, oh shit, this guy's awesome. And then going forward to the rest of the season.
And then he just walks out with a guy and a girl.
Oh yeah. And then like he has a great ending. That fight is fantastic. He proves he's a better fighter than the Mountain, and that he can beat the Mountain, but then gets sloppy and loses. But
yeah,
still, great fighter, great personality, sexy, fun, funny.
We all thought he was going to win that fight.
And you know what else I liked? I liked that he was level-headed, and he was smart enough to realize Tyrion wasn't evil, even though he's a Lannister, because he hates Lannisters. But he was like, Tyrion, you're like, your family hates you more than they hate me. And, like, I'm going to be your champion, like, based off this trial. And he went in and should have won, didn't win, but I love him for everything he stood for and the person he was.
That scene in the prison with Tyrion and Oberyn, in which Oberyn tells Tyrion that he will be his champion, is one of my favorite.
I get a little teary-eyed.
Scenes. Me too. It's one of my favorite scenes of the entire series.
Like when Tyrion kind of like, it like quenches his face and like he gets a little teary-eyed. I do the same thing.
I fist pump when Oberyn gives that speech.
No, for sure. It's kind of like a F-U to Cersei too.
The first time I ever saw it, I fist pumped so hard because I thought Oberyn was gonna survive.
Right. It was like your favorite team to score a touchdown. You're like, yes!
It was like when Des Bryant made that catch 2 years ago against the Packers in the divisional round, and then it got overturned.
Right, and then he gets his head smashed in.
Too deep into it.
That's the perfect analogy.
I'm not gonna go too deep into that, but that's what it was like.
No, that's a perfect analogy.
I fist pumped harder than I've ever fist pumped.
That's a little foreshadowing to what more of our podcast will be like in the future. Hence the name Sports.
If you don't like football...
If you don't like football, don't listen to our podcast, except for our Game of Thrones podcast.
We might be talking about Game of Thrones, but
we like football. Moving forward. Oberyn would have been a great football player, too, by the way.
Where would you put him? Like, what position?
I feel like he's a free safety.
Oh, really?
He's kind of slender.
He's a running back for me.
Okay.
He's like Ty Montgomery.
Oh, okay. Kind of a slot receiver.
Yeah.
Although
I don't like that comparison because Ty Montgomery sucks ass.
I'm putting him as he's like Darian Stewart. Like, he's slender. He's not the biggest guy. But if you come over the middle and you test him, he'll fucking kill you.
Okay.
Like, and he's athletic and...
For me, he's more of a Devontae Freeman.
Okay.
You put him in the slot, you put him at running back.
I feel like they're both similar.
Ty Montgomery sucks, but Devontae Freeman's a better version of that.
Ty Montgomery's okay. Come on. All right, we're not getting into football, though. That's what we think of that. Moving on to your number 5. Who's your 5th favorite character in Game of Thrones?
Sandor Clegane.
Sandor
Clegane the Hound. You guys might know the Hound by his evil days. You might know the Hound by his axe slaying badass days and good folk days. But however you know him, he's the Hound.
He's the
Hound. And he likes chicken.
I'll take 2 of those chickens.
And the thing about the Hound for me is that I hated him. Maybe a whole season I hated him. I thought this guy is a fucking animal. I hate this guy. He's a beast. He's everything that a human being...
He's defending the wrong people.
Yeah, but he's a guy, to me, that made a character transformation and started hanging out with the right people. The season that comes to mind, obviously, is the one with him and Arya, in which he gets Arya her first horse, and they do have the chicken scene.
Oh, so
and that
good.
season, to me, is money.
Oh.
And how could you be a Game of Thrones fan without loving the Hound?
For sure. And off that branch, I love when Stannis is attacking King's Landing, and Sansa runs back to her room, and he's just sitting there, and he's like, "Hello, little bird," and she's like, "Oh my god!" And he's like, "I'll take you north if you want."
I hated him at that point.
No, for sure. But then you saw his human side come out a little right there in that moment. He's like, "I'm not gonna hurt you." He's like, "I'll take you north if you want," and you could tell he was genuine. This guy is one of the biggest mass murderers in Westeros, and he won't hurt this little girl. He won't even rape this little girl that every single person in Westeros would rape if they had the chance.
He saved her from being raped.
Yeah, multiple times. He's a fantastic person. He has a great
That was
heart.
the moment, actually, when King's Landing, right after Ned Stark gets his head cut off and shit's going crazy, and I think that was when it was.
No. It's when they're walking through, and someone throws a piece of poo and hits Joffrey in the head.
Yeah.
And then it's like becomes a big mayhem.
Yeah, and Sansa is gonna get raped, and the Hound comes in and saves her.
I think that's before Ned loses his head. I'm not sure though. You guys can correct us.
It's in season 1. It's in season 1.
I think it's before Ned gets the axe.
It is, because he gets the axe in episode 9.
Right.
So not much happens after.
For sure. But anyways, yeah, I just, based off your things with Arya, which I love, by the way, him and Arya together are fantastic. But he was super nice to Sansa at that point. Would have saved her if she was smart enough to do it, but she wasn't, and he just went about his way. And he's always been wrecking faces, and then got his ass beat by Brienne. And so, like, once he got his ass beat by Brienne, it was like, oh my goodness, this dude is insane. And yeah, I don't know. He can't. Everyone thought he was dead. He's laying there on the ground with his leg broken, just like, oh. Arya comes down. He's like, kill me, kill me. And Arya refuses to kill him, and it's like, oh man, this guy, Arya's ruthless, and it's like, poor guy. Only to find out later he's alive. Of course he is. What an absolute monster. Love the guy. He's an interesting dude. But with that being said, he doesn't make my top list. But I'm going to jump into my number 4 here. And my number 4 is going to be someone that was on Corey's list as well. And that's Bronn. Bronn, to me, is the funniest person in all of Game of Thrones. I think Bronn is hysterical. Him and Tyrion together are nothing short of perfect. There's been no better pair of two characters in Game of Thrones the whole time. When Bronn is with Tyrion, they work together.
Even the Hound and Arya?
Yeah, well, that's close. That's a number 2 for me. But yeah, I think Bronn and Tyrion together is pure gold. I love in that scene you were referring to earlier when you're talking about Bronn, when they're in the Eyrie, and they're going to the thing,
Such a great scene.
and there's someone says like, "Oh yeah, it's impregnable," and he's like, "Give me 12 good men and shoe spikes, and I'll impregnate the bitch." And Tyrion's just like, I like you. I was like, you know what? I like you too. And then he stood up for Tyrion and killed the dude and just dropped him down the hole. And I was like, damn, this dude's badass as fuck. And then from there on, it was more just about his hilariousness. He was funny, witty, singing. I love his singing.
Did you know that he is actually...
Yeah.
Like, he was on Broadway?
Yeah. Here's another fun fact.
He was in bands.
Did you know that he dated Lena Headey, who is Cersei Lannister? and so they could not shoot scenes with those two together because it was awkward.
I did know that.
Yeah, it's like Jesus. High school bullshit never ends, people. It just goes on for the rest of eternity.
It exists in Westeros.
It exists in Westeros, and it exists on this set of Game of Thrones. But yeah, no, Bronn coming in at number 4 for me because he's funny, badass. Tyrion's sidekick, which gets you some brownie points. If
sure.
Podrick Payne was more badass, I'd probably have him somewhere up here.
Podrick fucking Payne.
Podrick fucking Payne. And you know what else I love about Bronn?
He makes everybody great.
For sure, and he's transitioned.
He's a great teacher.
He's transitioned into being Jaime's sidekick now.
Yeah.
And it's like...
I love it.
And no one will tell Jaime the truth except him. He'll just be like, Jaime, you're a fucking asshole. I don't care.
Him teaching Jaime how to sword fight again is amazing.
Right. I used to bring a fancy lord's wife down here and fuck her. That's
how
Bronn.
I know it's safe.
Yeah, exactly. That's Bronn. But anyways, jumping over to Corey, who's your number 4 favorite character?
It's going to be the Master of Whisperers, Lord Varys.
Ooh, Lord Varys.
Another guy that a lot of people love to hate.
Once again, I have another person that's coming up on my list. A little foreshadowing. I feel a lot of you out there are probably surprised that Varys is in both of our top 4. But...
And you know what the thing is to me about Varys that I love him so much for?
Mm-hmm.
Is at first I didn't like him.
Right, you're like, what's this dude?
But I started to realize that he gets the big picture.
Right.
He is going to support whoever is going to make
who's going to be the best
greater
leader.
good.
Right.
He is there for the best of humanity.
For sure. I'm going to cut you off right there because I have him higher and we'll talk about it more. But I feel like that's exactly why I personally love him as well. And we'll delve deeper once we get there coming up here. Who's your number 3?
I'm going with another Lannister.
Another Lannister.
I've got
a few Lannisters up there.
I mean, and if you want to include Joffrey in there, then I've got more than that.
Joffrey's a Lannister, yes.
But we're going with Tyrion now.
Tyrion. All right, I have Tyrion as 3 as well. So this is the first one that we've agreed on.
Okay.
We agree that Tyrion is the 3rd coolest person in Game of Thrones.
That's his floor.
Agreed. We were talking about this the other day. We were saying how like Tyrion, every single person that watches Game of Thrones has him at 3 at the worst. Like he's usually most people's favorite.
Couldn't be not in the top 3.
I could see some like females who like don't like his whoring and his smartassness and drinking, maybe put him a little lower.
I've never met one.
No, I haven't either, but I'm just saying maybe.
Okay, yeah.
Playing devil's advocate, But anyways,
absolutely.
Enough hate.
You don't have to like him.
Let's not hate on Tyrion. Let's embrace what we love about this man.
I don't know if I hate anything about the man.
So because we both have him at number 3, I'm gonna go back and forth real quick. I'm going to have you say a word about him that you like. I'm going to say a word. You're going to say a word. I'm going to say a word. And we're just going to kind of just say a bunch of words that describe Tyrion and why we love him. So what's the first word that comes to your mind when you think of Tyrion and why you like him?
Patience.
Patience. I love it. I'm going to say intelligence. Another word.
Humor.
Humor. I love that's a great choice.
It's tough, actually.
Size. I do love that he's a midget. I feel like it's a very endearing quality. People are naturally drawn to that, naturally sympathetic to that, and
at that time, it was a big deal.
And even today,
it's a big deal.
It's a deal.
Yeah, I don't mean to sound ignorant.
No, me either. And we don't mean to come off and try to be rude to anyone. We're just trying to be honest and candid.
Or act like our viewpoints are better than any other viewpoints.
No, our viewpoints are better than your viewpoints.
Definitely.
But we're not trying to insult you, is what we're trying to get at. But we're smarter and we have better viewpoints. But no, I feel like people are empathetic to that situation, and it is kind of endearing, and people like that. And people are more empathetic because he doesn't give a shit about it. He's like, you know what? I don't care that I'm short I don't care. I'm gonna make the best of whatever I got, and I'm smart, and I'm gonna do this. And he does that very well.
I know. Yeah, he has a quote about that, about his own flaws, in which he says, "My flaws are my strengths."
Right. That's one of the things, and he's very honest. And he's not only honest with himself, he's honest about his family. He's honest about people he meets. He's honest to everyone, and that's the reason that Daenerys trusts him to be her hand. I mean, he comes over. He's a Lannister, and he's like, "Oh, hey, I came over here to come find you because a person I trusted said that you were a cool person and that you were someone that could get behind." And she's like, off of like a couple conversations, she's like, "Yeah, this guy is smart, trustworthy, and I like him." And that's why I think Tyrion's great. If you're level-headed... Oh, you have a quote?
Yeah, the quote that I was thinking of, I found it.
Okay, give it to me.
He says, "Once you've accepted your flaws, no one can use them against you."
Exactly. It's like self-deprecating humor. You know? You make fun of yourself before someone else can.
Exactly.
So it's like, yeah, I just said that. Like, why are you going at it? I
know what my flaws are.
Yeah, it's important.
I know that I suck at this.
Yeah, we're not good podcasters yet, but we're going to get there. Stick with us, people.
And I meant this as a hypothetical this. This could have been anything.
For sure. I was just being real. It's our first podcast.
I do suck at this too.
I'm trying to keep it candid. I feel like one of the reasons that people love Tyrion and Ned and Jon and people like that is because they're honest and they're not biased.
Maybe they have one less hand.
They're not biased though.
Maybe that's why they're...
They keep their level head and they don't mess with other people. And well, they do mess with other people, but they always are honest about whether they're ahead, behind, where they stand, if they're good or bad, what's right and wrong. He has a great grasp on that, and that's why I love him. And he's hilarious. He's killed some people. He's badass. He'll do what he has to do.
Exactly. He's fought in battle,
and so I love him for that.
And he's had like the type of chance that is very rare, but very realistic from a writing standpoint to survive to where he is.
And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump now to my number 2, though. This is a person that was just on Corey's list earlier, and that's Varys. Who's you had him at 4?
I have Varys at 4, yes.
Varys, again, I feel like most people who listen to this will be surprised to have Varys at number 2 for myself and 4 for Corey.
Top 5 in both of us.
I mean,
when we're talking Jon Snow and Daenerys Targaryen ain't on my list.
No, exactly.
Varys is 4.
This is how you know this is a personal, opinionated thing. Like, we have our own tastes, and we're going to share them, and we believe these things, and if both of us love Varys, it can't be wrong, right?
No.
What's your favorite thing about Varys?
The thing I love about Varys is he's one of those characters that you do have to put the time in to get to know him.
Okay.
You're not going to immediately like him.
Mm-hmm.
But the more you watch him and the more you watch his interactions, you realize how empathetic he is to other people and that he's gone through a lot in his life. And he's not out to be a bad person. I think the shit that he's gone through makes a life hard.
It's shaped him.
Yeah, and it's hard to live on past that and to be even just positive as a person. And he does dark work, but he's a good person, I think. And his humor...
I love the I think you just threw in there, because kind of like Littlefinger, you can never be sure. However, I do feel like this last season revealed his true allegiances to Targaryen restoration with Dany.
In like the first couple seasons, and possibly 3 with him and Littlefinger, are some of the best interactions.
Oh, that scene where
but then it continues when he goes to Essos.
Essos, for sure. But that scene where he walks in and Littlefinger is like sitting there looking at the throne.
It's like they get each other.
No, definitely.
Yeah, and they make fun of each other for the most personal flaws.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he makes fun of Littlefinger.
And it's not like it's like subtle. Like, they're just like,
and they don't care.
Blah, 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 blah. It's like
he knows exactly how many swords
right
were used.
He's like, it's actually not 1,000. He's like, oh, of course you would know.
He's like, and you wish you had balls. You know, like Littlefinger, like.
He's like, actually, no.
Actually,
I'm quite
I don't.
content.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not resisted by the urges of the common man or something like that. I can't remember. We're just kind of like trying to remember them the best we can off the top of our head. But yeah, that's hilarious.
He doesn't care.
No, he cares a ton.
Him. No, he does. And then when you find out. He
doesn't care about Littlefinger.
When he has the sorcerer.
Oh, yeah. That's great. In the crate.
You realize that he's got his own violent side as well.
I mean, I feel like he's secretly one of the more powerful people in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like...
You can't just go from Westeros to Essos and be the hand to the queen.
He wasn't the hand. But he was the master of spies.
You're right.
And...
But he's up there. He's in the council.
Oh, and like...
He's in the small council again.
He's always in the small council. He's going to be in the small council for Dany. And like, you know, like he says, he has so many little birds around, and he just knows the most of anyone. Do you
want to know a big growing point for me too? And I'm sorry.
No. Keep going. I love it.
Is that the season in which Tyrion becomes Hand to the King?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of that's the season when I start to like
Varys. When they're interacting a lot.
And I think that goes back on Tyrion and speaks volumes about Tyrion and how he can enable, through Tyrion, you can learn to love other people.
Right.
And that, I remember that interaction when Varys is like, you are very good at playing the game.
That shows Varys is non-biased too. Where he's like,
yeah,
I can see that this dude's just
there
great.
For the best guy.
He's like, I can see that this dude is great at this job. And like, just because everyone else hates him doesn't mean he's not great at this job.
And I love when Varys is like, what does he say to him? Oh, man.
There's a couple times he says some stuff to him. I love the one where they're standing on like the...
on the pier.
They're standing on like the castle walls to the ocean.
And Tyrion's saying how he loves playing the game.
And yeah. But there was
the scene.
There was like the scene where he's like,
I just can't remember what he said.
Tywin put me in charge of the sewers, and he's like, and the shit never ran better.
Exactly. And Tyrion was the best plumber of Westeros in all of history.
Right, and then right after that, Varys is like, you were quite good at it, you know, being Hand. And it's like those little subtle comments that are so sincere. And it's like Varys doesn't give those out. And it's like, oh, he's
think about
so good.
that. Think about 3 to 4 seasons later in Essos with Tyrion and Varys again. And you never thought they would combine again.
It's like almost all Varys' like concoction.
And remember that moment when Tyrion's like drunk as shit and like crying, and Varys is like, "You need to get your fucking shit together, and we're going to Essos and we're running the ship."
Right. He's like, we're gonna go see Dany and we're gonna do this.
And Tyrion was like, "Okay."
Yeah. Tyrion's like, "Thanks for saving my life. Let's
that was
get
a
out
turning
of here."
point.
For sure.
And that is why Varys is in my top 5.
Varys, that's why I love him too, because he's
crucial.
I think he's the smartest person on the show.
People do not consider this.
Him or Tyrion, like, and then when you put them together, their intelligence level is just off the charts. You're not even going to come close to those two together.
No.
And so,
it's like Trump and Pence.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm just kidding.
Don't fucking say that shit. Fuck Trump.
I'm kidding. I hate Trump.
By
the way, that was sarcasm.
Yeah, no. We're not rocking that shit.
I'm kidding.
For sure. But anyways, who's your number 2?
Arya motherfucking Ninja Stark.
My number 1 happens to be Arya Stark. AKA, you might have been a little hinted by my name. So Arya Stark coming in at number 2 for Corey, number 1 for me. Why do you love her?
She's a great person overall. She, from a young age, she learned from Ned Stark and Jon Snow, 2 of the most noble men
and most badass warriors.
From the old gods to the new.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 men, she also learned from a woman named Catelyn Stark, who is one of the most powerful, not powerful, but one of the strongest minded women of Westeros in many, many years.
Preach.
And so Arya Stark to me is a culmination of a tomboy type girl raised by a strong woman, but has the fight of what you would consider a man in those days. You know, what you would need to be a man.
Right.
Fighting, sword fighting, all those things.
I'm gonna go
as well as
further.
the intellect.
I'm going to go even further. And then not only all those things are true, she then got the training of the deadliest assassins in the entire world.
How can I leave that out?
And so now she is easily the deadliest character on the show. That's not a dragon.
She's like basically a mixture of Vito Corleone, Tony Soprano,
and
Odell Beckham Jr.
and LeBron James. She's
and Le'Veon Bell.
And Le'Veon Bell. She's going to crush everyone. A little insight into what we kind of like.
And you know what? I'll throw this year's Matt Ryan in there too, just to bump up the averages.
All right. Matt Ryan's killing this year, but not Matt Ryan. Arya is better than Matt Ryan. I'm going to make that clear.
Well, that's like kind of the Ned Stark.
She's won like 3 MVPs.
Like, I say the Matt Ryan as like the Ned Stark wisdom.
Okay.
You know, right before he died.
But I just want to share one quick scene as the scene when I fell in love with her, and then I'm going to jump to your number 1 real quick. But the first scene that I fell in love with her,
it wasn't the first episode?
It's the first episode.
Yeah, me too.
It's when Bran is practicing his bow and arrow.
Yep, me too.
And he can't hit the target, and she just comes out from like 25 feet further than Bran out of the doorway and just nails it in the middle and just like runs off. And it's like, oh my, I love this girl. And later in the episode, she's got the helmet on, and she's just like, this girl's a badass. But anyways, that's the scene where I fell in love with her, and from then on, I fell more and more and more in love with her ever since. Like you said earlier, with her and the Hound, great moments, great scenes.
It's amazing.
Together. And
the way she sticks up to Joffrey when she's young,
right?
Everything she does in her whole life, when she gets picked up by the Brotherhood of Without Banners,
right.
She sticks up to Beric Dondarrion.
She's like a non-muzzled Ned Stark. She'll just constantly tell you what's right, whether you want to hear it or not. What she says is right, and it is. I feel like what she says is right.
And it's so right that the people who could literally cut her head off
just say like,
she's kind of right.
Right. But anyways,
this little girl.
Arya Stark coming in at number 2 for Corey, number 1 for my stealth.
And it was tough.
AKA
tough
Mr.
She's
Arya
arguably
Stark.
my number 1.
Who's your number 1, Corey? Controversial pick here, boys.
My number 1. Some people would say it's controversial. I don't think it is. I think this guy.
No, I know you don't.
He's not controversial at all.
He's not on my list.
He's the most noble person in Westeros. He saved entire humanity. His name is Jaime motherfucking Lannister.
Jaime Lannister. Yeah.
The guy knows the Kingslayer. The reason why he's called the Kingslayer is because he killed a king, the Mad King, who had already gone fucking mad.
Right.
And first of all, if you know the story, the guy was experimenting with all sorts of wildfire, doing crazy shit. He was basically the Trump of Westeros.
Right.
And Jaime fucking killed him. And everybody acts like it's betrayal, but they don't know, they don't take into account who he killed and why. And I like Jaime because he struggles, man. He's got an addictive personality. He struggles with things. He deals with them. He's grown as a person. He's gone through several character transformations. There's times when I hated the man.
Right. Early, though.
I hated
him on.
Worse than Joffrey at times.
Early.
I said, this is an animal. This is a beast. This is not a sentient being.
Right.
As time went on, I became empathetic in a way. I don't know.
No.
It was the directing. It was
don't
the
ever
writing.
Apologize for your
opinion. It was the
opinion.
writing. It was whatever. But I latched on to Jaime Lannister, and I have followed his story through the seasons. This guy, to me, he's the best sword fighter in Westeros that is alive right now. I don't give a shit if he has one hand.
Okay.
He's the best.
He's
starting to finally learn how to fight.
He was the best.
He was the best, but now he's arguably becoming the best.
Jon Snow takes him out easy. Continue.
You're right. I'm not going to argue with that.
Continue, though. No, I know. He's got one hand. It's impossible.
His personality, he's funny. He's
witty.
He's witty. He's handsome. He is reasonable. He's empathetic. Do we not remember when he took over Riverrun? And how he outsmarted the Blackfish?
Right.
He shows intellectual awareness He has physical awareness. He's put himself more vulnerable than any other character in the show to me, arguably. And we've seen that vulnerability, and we've seen the strengths